Hong Kong International Film Festival and Berlin International Film Festival, and she has known Mr. Fahardi for many years. And now please join me to welcome the Iranian Master, two-time Academy Awards winner, Mr. Asghar Fahardi. And Davut. Thank you.
Yes, as Kiki told, I had the luck to travel several times to Iran for pre-select movies, and I just can tell it was a great experience because I never experienced such a hospitality and such open-minded people. And when it comes to film, I mean, Iran is a treasure land. You have Jafar Panahi, you have Asghar Fahardi, and I think your movies in a way are a turning point in the evolution of Iranian cinema. Because first of all, your films are loved by the audience and the critics in Iran and worldwide. And for me, they are so meaningful because your cinema and your stories are coming directly out of a daily life in Iran, or like everybody knows, out of the daily life in Spain. And I think with this masterclass we should find out how you develop your movies, because we don't observe your characters, we experience their life with their own eyes, and that's very rare in cinema. And with this masterclass and your questions, I think we should find it out. And maybe for the beginning you want to say something?
I would like to say hello to all the audience members. I'm very pleased to be here, and I didn't expect to have this huge audience here.
از آن که تشکر میکنم به خاطر اینکه سال‌ها همدیگه رو میشناسیم و سینمای ایران رو خیلی کمک کرده بهش تو معرفیش.
My thanks also goes to Anke for all the work he's done for me and all the efforts he's made to introduce Iranian cinema.
امیدوارم که بتونیم تو این جلسه راجع به سوالی که کردی صحبت کنیم و من اون چیزهایی که بهش آگاهم رو بهتون
I hope I would be able to answer the question you asked, and I hope to be able to convey the points that I'm cognizant of and I'm aware of.
بخش زیادی از این چیزهایی که آدم انجام میده از ناخودآگاه میاد.
Because most of the things we do come from the unconscious part of us.
So, shall we start?
Yes, please.
So, in interviews, you rarely quote other directors or mention them as your model. But once you mentioned in an interview that you feel close to Billy Wilder, who made some of the best comedies ever. And the last sentence in Some Like It Hot is, nobody is perfect. And also in your movies, nobody has to be perfect. You never judge any of your characters. Is this what you have in common with Billy Wilder, the sense for our human weakness?
من بیلی وایلر رو خیلی دوست دارم به خاطر اینکه وقتی فیلمش رو میبینم فراموش میکنم که یه فیلم دارم میبینم. من خیلی دوستش دارم چون وقتی فیلمش رو میبینم فراموش میکنم که یک فیلم دارم میبینم.
I very much like Billy Wilder, the director, since when I watch his movies, I forget about many things.
اون خیلی درام رو خوب طراحی میکنه.
He plans and designs the drama very skillfully.
چیزی که برام جالبه تو فیلماش ما همه کاراکتراشو دوست داریم.
One of the things that I like about his movies is that we all like his movies' characters.
کمتر کاراکتری تو فیلماش هست که ما بدمون بیاد ازش.
There are few characters in his movies that we dislike.
توی کارهایی که من کار کردم سعی کردم که کاراکترها تقسیم نشن به دو دسته خوب و بد.
In the works that I have done, I have made my utmost not to classify my characters into bad and good.
این به این معنی نیست که در دنیا بد و خوب وجود نداره.
That does not mean that in this world of ours there are no bad or good people.
معنیش این نیست که مقصر و بیگناه وجود نداره.
That doesn't mean there are no innocent nor guilty people in this world.
ولی حتی آدم‌های مقصر در فیلم‌ها هم اگر دلیل کار خطایی که انجام دادن رو ببینیم این دسته‌بندی دیگه حذف میشه.
And even when we see the reasons behind the offense or the crime committed by the guilty people, we come to this realization that we understand their situation and this classification lose color and disappears.
میخوام بگم که من تماشاگرمو تشویق نمی‌کنم که قضاوت نکنه.
I just want to make this point that I do not encourage my audience not to judge.
من خودم قضاوت نمی‌کنم راجع به کاراکترام چون این کارو می‌سپارم به تماشاگر.
I do not judge my characters as I leave this to the audience to do so.
So, your grandfather, when you were a kid, he told you many stories, and they were written by the famous writer Ferdowsi, and in which way influence his writings your films?
اگر از من بپرسن که مهمترین ایرانی که در تاریخ وجود داشته کیه میگم حکیم فردوسی.
If I'm ever asked, if anyone asks me, who's, in your opinion, who is the most prominent, the most important person in Iran's old history, I would say Hakim Ferdowsi.
اون یه شاعر بزرگ بود که قرنها چند صد سال قبل زندگی می‌کرد.
He was a very great poet who used to live many centuries ago.
یه چیزی که من کشف کردم توی خیلی چیزها یاد گرفتم.
What I realized over the years and learned from.
یکی از چیزایی که دوره دانشگاه فهمیدم از این شاعر این بود که اون در قصه هاش کاراکترها رو به بد و خوب تقسیم نمی‌کرد.
One thing I learned about his works during my studies at the university is that in his stories he never classified people as bad or good.
یک داستانی داره به نام داستان رستم و اسفندیار که جنگ دو تا پهلوانه.
In his story, there is a story in which we have two characters, Rustam and Afrasiyab. Rustam and Isfandiar. This is a battle between the two giants.
هر دو رو به یه اندازه توصیف میکنه و بهشون زمان میده که خودشون رو توصیف کنن.
In his stories, he depicts both characters equally and gives them time to show themselves.
هومر هم حماسه‌های مشابهی داره.
Homer also has similar epics.
ولی اون کارو نمیکنه. اون قهرماناش رو به دسته‌بندی میکنه.
Unlike Ferdowsi, Homer classifies his characters as evil and good.
Like Iliad Odyssey.
Like such as Iliad Odyssey.
So maybe we should talk a bit about everybody knows, because when you write your script, how do you develop your characters in this movie in a way that even if they do stupid, criminal, immoral things, we not only understand the actions, we also get closer to them.
موقعی که من شروع میکنم در مرحله اول به نوشتن
At the beginning when I start to write,
احساس کنم که با قلبم می‌نویسم.
I feel like I'm writing through my heart.
نمیشونم مثل یک کسی که داره شطرنج بازی میکنه توی نوشتن حرکت کنم.
I don't write like a chess player. I don't set my characters like a chess player trying to design a certain plan as a chess player, like a chess player.
ولی وقتی که ورژن اول فیلم نامه رو نوشتم سعی می‌کنم حالا با مغزم روی فیلم نامه کار کنم با آگاهم.
Once the first draft of my script is written, then I try to focus on it through my mind and work through it.
اولین چیزی که میپرسم اینه که چرا هر کاراکتری این کاری که داره انجام میده رو توی فیلم داره انجام میده.
The first question I ask myself is that why this character is doing this sort of thing or this job in this story.
اونهایی که به اندازه کافی توی داستانی که نوشتم از خودشون زمان بهشون داده نشده که دفاع کنن، زمان بیشتری بهشون میدن.
Those characters in my story that haven't been given time to show themselves, to present themselves, I try to give, in this second reading or working through my script, I try to give them more time to present and show themselves.
این جمله رو بارها قبلا گفتم، دوباره اینجا فکر کنم که
I have repeated this sentence quite a number of times, and I would like to repeat that here as well.
تراژدی کلاسیک جنگ بین خیر و شر بود.
Classic tragedy was a fight between evil and good.
تراژدی مدرن به نظرم جنگ بین خوب و خوبه.
Modern tragedy is between the battle between good and bad.
Good and good.
Good and good. Excuse me. Thank you very much.
وقتی که جنگ بین دو تا پرسوناژ خوبه، شما من تماشاگر نمیدونید که منتظر پیروز شدن چه کسی باشه.
When there's a battle between two good characters, you as the audience don't know what sort of outcome or result you would expect.
و نمیدونید چه کسی اگه پیروز بشه شما خوشحال‌تر و راضی‌ترید.
And you don't know if any of these good characters will win. Would you ever be happy with the result? You really don't know.
در همین فیلم ما دو تا پدر داریم.
In this story, we have two fathers.
که این دو تا با هم در یه جنگی هستن.
These fathers are in a conflict with each other, in a war, in a fight with each other.
ولی ما نمیدونیم که کدوم یکی اگر پیروز بشن خوشحال سالن ترک کنن.
But at the same time, we don't know if either one wins. Will we be happy when we are leaving the cinema, the theater?
But let's talk maybe a bit about the old father, and everybody knows he is a gambler now, but in former times he used to be a very respected person. And just with some hints, you create his life story. And with his story, you also depict the story of a Spanish village on the countryside. And can one say that the families in your movies, like in The Separation or the group of friends in About Ellie, they represent also a microcosmos of a society?
قبل از این راجع به پدر یه نکته رو بگم شاید جالب باشه.
You may find this interesting. Let me explain this one point about the father.
The old father.
The old father.
من وقتی که این پیرمرد رو نوشتم یاد لیرشای شکسپیر افتادم.
When I was writing about this old father, I remembered the Lear of Shakespeare novel.
و توی بازنویسی روی این کار کردم که شبیه لیر بشه.
And in rewriting through my script, I did my best to make him look like the Lear in the Shakespeare character.
اونجا هم سه تا دختر داره که بعدها به خاطر تقسیم کردن اموالش بین این سه تا سرزمینش بین این سه تا دچار مشکل میشه.
In that story, Lear also has 3 daughters. In which after
از که سرزمینش تقسیم میکنه بین سه نه در طول زندگیش وقت تقسیم میکنه به سرزمینش به 3 قسمت دچار مشکل میشه.
He found difficulty when he was trying to divide his land into 3 parts between his daughters.
این رو من آوردم توی قصه و سعی کردم که اون کاراکتر شبیه لیر بشه، هم به لحاظ ظاهری هم نوع کاراکترش.
I tried my best to bring that character into my story, both from the appearance and also from the perspective of his character.
کمکی که این کاراکتر میکرد در این فیلم که توی اسپانیا میگذشت یه جوری یک گذشته تاریخی رو با خودش می‌آورد وارد فیلم میکرد.
The assistance this character provided was to inject a kind of historical perspective into the story.
معلومه که رفتاراش از دوره فرانکو باقی مونده با خودش.
It was clear that his behavior and his reactions were the remaining part of the past in the Bronco area.
فرانکو به نظر میاد که هنوز اون اتوریته دوره فرانکو رو با خودش داره.
He seems like to have the same authority of the Franco era, Franco times.
این بعد اجتماعی فیلم رو پررنگ می‌کرد و از حالت خانوادگی یکم بزرگترش می‌کرد.
This would give the social aspect of the family more colorful.
اصلا این اختلاف طبقاتی که وجود داشت.
Especially the social difference, the classification of the society.
که اینو من تو فیلم قبلی هم داشتم.
Which was evident in my previous films as well.
این فقط مربوط به ایران یا اسپانیا نیست.
This is not just relevant in Iran nor in Spain.
الان این مشکلی که در همه جای دنیا وجود.
This is a widespread problem throughout the world.
این اختلاف یه عده فقیر یه عده خیلی ثروتمند.
This social gap between the very, very poor and the top rich.
یه نفرت پنهانی توی جوامع به خاطر این وجود داره.
There is a hidden hatred because of this in the societies.
من تو امریکا دیدم، توی اروپا دیدم، اینجا هم دیدم.
I saw this with my own eyes in the US, in Europe, and here in Hong Kong.
So, به نظرم یک موضوع مهمیه.
So this is a very important issue.
که توی همه فیلم‌های من اومده.
That plays itself in all my movies.
So let's come back to what you might have in common with Billy Wilder. In his comedies, he brings ordinary people, like you just said, in extraordinary situations. And before the drama happens, with just a few scenes, you manage that we participate in their daily life. So how do you create this life atmosphere, like the wedding in the beginning? I really had the feeling I was in the middle of the party and I just wanted starting dancing when I saw the movie.
اولین چیزی که میتونم بگم اینه که این کاراکترهایی که توی فیلم‌های من بودن تا الان آدم‌های ساده‌ای هستند که در موقعیت‌های پیچیده قرار گرفتن.
The first thing I would like to say about my characters is that these are very simple characters, but they are caught in a very difficult situation.
و این موقعیت پیچیده اونها رو تغییر میده.
And this complex situation makes them different. They turn out to be a different personality.
زندگی روزمره خیلی چیز جذابی نیست.
The daily life is not a very interesting and attractive thing.
ولی چرا ما اصرار داریم که تو فیلم‌ها به زندگی نزدیک بشیم؟
But why do we try to get close to the daily life in our movies?
زندگی روزمره پر از تکراره.
Daily life is riddled with repetition.
پر از چیزای ناخالصه.
Riddled with impurities.
میتونم یه مثال بزنم که قبلا هم گفتم این مثال.
Let me cite another example which I had previously mentioned.
بکنیم که من با یک دوستی یه قراری دارم یه دوستی رو من زنگ میزنه میگه که با هم یه قرار بذاریم.
Let's suppose that a friend of mine calls me and asks me for an appointment to meet somewhere.
میگه دلم برات تنگ شده و بیا یه قهوه با هم بخوریم.
He would say he would miss me and he would invite me for a cup of coffee.
و بعد از مدت‌ها ما هم دیگر می‌بینیم.
And after a long time we get to see each other again.
بعد میگه که دلم تنگ شده دوست دارم یه سفری برم.
then he would say, I really miss my place and I need to travel somewhere.
و میگه که من خیلی تو رو دوست دارم و دلم برای تنگ شده بود.
And he would continue saying that he misses me and he really wanted to see me.
منم بهش میگم که منم خیلی دلم تنگ شده بود.
And I would also say the same thing, that I would really miss you back.
بعد اون قهوه میخوره منم قهوه میخورم.
He drinks a cup of coffee, I do the same, drink a cup of coffee.
Is this interesting for you? No, it's repeating. But let's okay. Yeah, اصلا چیز جذابی نبود.
This is not an attractive thing.
تصور کنید که دوست من از اون کافه بره بیرون و تصادف کنه و بمیره.
Imagine, suppose that after our meeting, my friend leaves the cafe and has a car accident and passes away.
همه چیز عوض میشه.
Everything changes.
من میگم که اون زنگ زد و من گفت که دلم برای تنگ شده. اون چرا آدم مهربونی بود.
I would say he called me and said that he would miss me, and then later on said he was such a kind person.
من میگم که اون گفت که دلش میخواد یه سفری بره نکنه میدونسته که قرار بمیره.
I recall that he said he was going on a journey. Maybe he knew that he was going to die.
و همه چیز یه معنای دیگه پیدا میکنه.
And then everything would change.
زندگی روزمره پر از این نشانه هاست.
The daily life is full of these signs.
اگر یه بحرانی اتفاق بیفته.
If there is a crisis,
به خاطر همین من توی فیلم‌ها همیشه بحران میذارم.
that's the main reason why I include a crisis in my movies.
به خاطر اینکه همه این نشانه ها میان بالا.
Because that's the main reason all these signs come up to the surface.
And that's why we look in a different way to daily life.
Yeah.
But you just mentioned the dramas that happen into your movies, and in a way they are all caused by the characters themselves, or their reactions make the situation even worse. So why? I mean,
ما آدم‌ها وقتی خودمون رو به دیگران نشون میدیم که تصمیم میگیریم.
We show our true personality to other people when we make a decision.
وقتی انتخاب میکنیم.
When we select, when we choose.
این حرف تازه‌ای نیست. این رو تو نمایشنامه‌های سارتر هم خیلی باهاش مواجه میشیم.
This is not a new thing. This is something that we also see in the Sartre's plays.
به خاطر همین آدم‌ها توی این فیلم‌ها توی این موقعیت شروع میکنن به انتخاب کردن.
And for this reason, the people in such circumstances start choosing and deciding.
و انتخاب‌ها اینقدر سخته که هر انتخابی بکنن یه تبعاتی داره، ساید افکت داره.
And their decisions are so important that whatever they decide, they have side effects and consequences.
و این موقعیت رو پیچیده میکنه.
And this would make the situation complex.
So like maybe we can make an example like in The Salesman. So something terrible happened to the woman, and her husband doesn't take care of her. He even makes the situation worse. That's the kind of reaction which brings the story goes on and on.
اون تصمیم میگیره که حتی ناخودآگاهش تصمیم میگیره که انتقام بگیره.
He decides, even his unconscious decides to take a revenge.
و یه تعریف جدیدی از خودش میده که ما قبلا ندیده بودیم.
And he redefines himself that we haven't seen that part of his character before.
اون ابتدای فیلم خیلی آدم مهربونیه، به دیگران کمک میکنه و به دانش آموزاش خیلی مهربونه.
At the beginning of the movie, he's a very kind person. He's kind to his people around him, to his students, and provides support to others.
ولی در یک دوراهی که قرار میگیره، در اون دوراهی انتقام گرفتن رو انتخاب میکنه.
But when we are in a dilemma, on the horns of a dilemma, he decides to take a revenge.
به نظرم به این دلیل انتخاب و سر دوراهی سخته که ما همه حقیقت رو نمیدونیم.
The reason why making a decision when you are at the dilemma is so difficult is because we do not know the whole aspect of the truth.
مثلا اگه ما قرار باشه تصمیم اخلاقی بگیریم.
Especially when you want to make a very important ethical decision.
Moral decision.
Moral decision.
و این تصمیمات چون ما همه حقیقت رو نمیدونیم وضعیت رو سخت‌تر میکنه.
And since we do not know the whole picture, the whole truth, will make making a decision all more difficult.
And how do you put those dramas and reaction in scene? Do you want to create also a certain tension, a suspense like in a thriller?
برای من مهمه که وقتی فیلم میسازم تماشاگر عادی هم فیلم رو دنبال کنه و دوست داشته باشه.
When making a movie, it's very important for me to make sure that the ordinary audience will follow and enjoys the movie.
دوست ندارم فیلم بسازم که فقط منتقدات تعریف کنن ازش.
I don't like to make a film which is only praised by the critics.
وقتی که میرم میبینم که مردم عادی هم در جای مختلف فیلم رو دوست دارن و میتونن باهاش ارتباط برقرار کنن، من خیلی راضی میشم.
I feel quite satisfied and pleased when I see that the ordinary audience, the ordinary people have liked my movies. This makes me quite pleased.
این حالت کاراگاهی دتکتیوی که توی فیلم هست رو من به این دلیل میذارم که تماشاگر عادی هم داستان رو حوصله سر نتونه دنبال کنه.
The detectiveness that you see in my movies is because I want to make sure I want to make sure that the ordinary people also follow the film.
اگر اون بخش کاراگاهی رو حذف کنم فیلم برای منتقدا جذاب ممکنه باشه ولی برای مردم حس کننده میشه.
Putting the detective part of the movie aside, it may satisfy the critics, but I can't say the same thing about the ordinary people.
تو این فیلم ها کاراگاهی وجود نداره.
In these movies there is no detective.
ولی تماشاگر در نقش کاراگاهه.
But the audience is in the place of the detective.
Yeah, that's true. So you have this entertaining part, me as a detective. You have dramas which are never bigger than life, and those drama always give us a bigger understanding of a society. So in Separation, you won the first Oscar with the Separation. The story takes more or less place in one apartment. It's a story of a couple, but nevertheless, in a way, how do you open the doors and windows so that really the audience has the feeling to experience a whole society in this movie, in 2 rooms?
نمیتونیم بگیم همه اجتماع رو توی اون فیلم ببینیم.
We can't say we can see the whole society in that movie.
ولی میتونیم بگیم که این یه فیلم اجتماعی هست.
But we can say this is a social film.
بخاطر اینکه این فیلم هر فیلم خانوادگی پتانسیل اینکه یه فیلم اجتماعی باشه توش هست.
Because every family movie has the potential to be a social film.
نگاه کنید به فیلم داستان توکیو اوزو.
Take
Tokyo Stories by Ozu.
Tokyo Story by Ozu. Thank you, Mr. Director. Take Tokyo Story by Ozu, for example.
یه داستان خانوادگی ولی ما اجتماع رو می‌بینیم.
It's a family story, but we see society through it.
برای من خانواده یه جوری آینه در مقابل اجتماع.
For me, the family is the mirror in front of the society, reflecting the society's image.
کاراکترها وقتی توی خانواده هستن بیشتر خودشونن تا وقتی سر کارشون هستن و بیرون از خونه هستن.
Characters reflect more, they are more of themselves when they are inside the family than when they are out in the society, in the workplace, in the...
به خاطر همین من وقتی توی خانواده کار میکنم کمکم میکنه که رفلکشن اجتماع داشته باشم.
That's the reason when in my films work on the family the family-related issues, it reflects the social aspect of the family as well.
When I see your movies, I'm always so surprised because they are so full of little details, and with those little details you can debate. And and she has to take care of the old man. And she comes from a religious background, and so she has to call the imam and ask him, I'm allowed to touch the old man. And in just 1 minute, you could see how the religion influenced her daily life. How do you find these little scenes? It's observations from how you live, how?
خیلی سخته بگم چجوری میان تو ذهنم.
It's very difficult to describe how these thoughts come to my mind.
بعضی اینا توی زندگی شخصیم شبیه داشتن.
Some of these ideas have been manifested in my personal life.
بعضی اونا یه کارایی توی داستان میکنن کاراکترها که من اصلا میپرسم چرا این کارو میکنه و بعد دلایلش رو توی فیلم میذارم.
Some of these characters do things in the movie that later on I ask myself why, and then try to mention the reasons in the film.
گاهی از ته شروع میشه همه چی.
Sometimes it starts from the end.
یه کاراکتر یه کاری میکنه و من باورش نمیکنم و سعی میکنم دلیلش رو بذارم توی فیلم.
A character does something that it sounds unbelievable to me, and then I try to include the reason for that kind of action by the character.
توی فیلم فروشنده یه مرد مسنی وارد یه خونه میشه و وارد حمام یه خونه میشه.
In the salesman, an old man enters an apartment and also enters and goes inside the bathroom.
بعد از خودم میپرسیدم خیلی دوست داشتم که یه مرد تو این سن و سال این کارو بکنه.
I very much liked a man in that age category would do this.
اگه یه جوونی این کارو میکرد یه چیز کلیشه‌ای.
It would be a cliché or not surprising for if the character doing this was a young man.
بعد از من پرسیدم چرا با این سن این کارو میکنه.
And then I ask myself why he would do such a thing at this age.
آیا مشکلی توی خانواده‌اش داره؟
Does he have a family problem? Does he have a problem in his family?
آیا یه بیمار جنسیه؟
Is he a sex addict or patient?
و بعد یه دلایل عاطفی براش گذاشتم.
Then I brought some
emotional
then I included some emotional reasons in the.
و بعد پس یه جایی از پایان از ته شروع می‌کنم.
Then therefore I sometimes start from the end.
ولی چیزی که دوست دارم بگم اینه که ما فکر کنیم ما به جزئیات تو زندگی روزمره توجه نمی‌کنیم.
We normally do not pay attention to the details in our daily life.
در حالی که مسیر زندگی ما رو اون جزئیات زندگی روزمره
while these little bits of details that compose and make our life.
شما با یه کسی آشنا میشید و شروع کنید زندگی مشترک بکنید.
You meet someone and you may start a new life together.
و فکر کنید اون روزی که تصمیم گرفتید با هم باشین یه روز مهمیه.
You may think that day when you decided to stay together and live together would be a very important day.
ولی مهمتر اینه که اون جزئیاتی که وجود داشته که شما رو سر راه هم قرار بده.
But the most important thing are the details that came together and placed you and your loved one close to each other.
And those little details, because of that, can one say that your films also have a documentary touch?
بله در این فیلم ها رو میشه گفت که فیلم های روزمره دراماتیک شدن.
Yes, we can call these movies روزمره دراماتیک شدن.
Dramatic ordinary life.
Dramatic ordinary life. Thank you.
One of your great talents and skills is writing those detailed and precise scripts, and I know it takes quite a while. But you also have the reputation of being an actors and actress director, so the rehearsals are also very important for you. Maybe could you explain in a more detailed way how exactly you work with them? Yeah, I know, but a bit.
لذت بخشترین تایمی که من دارم فیلم می‌سازم کار با هنرمنداست.
The most enjoyable time when I'm making the movie is dealing with the actors.
و بیشتر کاری که انجام میدم قبل از شروع فیلم برداریه.
Most of the job starts before starting filming.
در بعضی از فیلم‌ها چند ماه تمرین می‌کنیم مثل تئاتر.
In some films we have to rehearse for a few months before the actual filming begins.
و در بعضی از فیلم‌ها کمتر.
And in some films to a lesser extent.
من تمام تلاشم اینه که بازیگر رو بشناسم.
I do my best, I do my utmost to get to know the actors.
ببینم چه پتانسیلی داره.
To learn about his potentials.
همیشه دنبال یه لینکی بین اون بازیگر و کاراکتر میگردم.
I always try to find a link between the characters and the actors.
حتما شنیدید اون توی فیلم جدایی اون زن که کار میکرد کارگر رو چجوری باش کار کردن.
I'm sure you have heard how I worked with the helper in the separation.
وقتی هنرپیشه اومد اون هنرپیشه نه مذهبی بود نه مال اون طبقه اجتماعی بود.
When I met the actress, she neither belonged to that. She neither was religious nor she belonged to that religious social class.
و یه تمرین‌های طولانی شروع کردیم برای که اون این حسه یه آدم مذهبی رو پیدا کنه.
So we rehearsed a lot to make sure that she would get to the character as to how to be a religious and devout person.
ازش خواستم که شروع کنه قرآن خوندن.
I asked her to start reciting our holy book, Quran.
ازش خواستم که توی گروه وقتی تمرین کنیم با مردهای فاصله بگیره.
I asked during the rehearsal, I asked her to keep her distance from the male actors.
خواستم که اون لباس اون حجاب اون چادر رو داشته باشه و بعضی موقع بره با اون چادر بره توی شهر بگرده.
I wanted her to wear the chador hijab and asked her to go around in the city and walk around.
و دستیار من باهاش میرفت این جاها رو.
And my assistant was with her.
و کم کم اون تبدیل شد به یک آدم مذهبی.
And she gradually became a really religious person.
و خیلی کمکش کرد.
And this helped the actress greatly.
And sorry, no, please go on.
نه میخوام بگم نگرانش نباشید اون برگشت به زندگی هست.
Don't worry about her. She's back to the normal life.
For example, the rehearsal of About Ellie. Did you all go together to the Caspian Sea? Yeah. Did you live like the characters in the movie together?
قبل از اینکه بریم شمال با همه گروه با هم دیگه چند ماه تمرین کردیم.
Before we go to the north with the crew, we rehearsed for a few months.
بخش زیادی از تمرینمون راجع به گذشته این داستان بود که راجع به اون تمرین کردیم.
A great part of our rehearsal was about the past story of the characters.
چیزی که توی فیلم نمی‌بینیم ولی راجعش صحبت میشه.
What we do not see in the film, but get discussed.
در فیلم درباره الی یه شخصیت داریم، شخصیت زن به نام سپیده و یه شخصیت مرد به نام احمد.
In the film about Ellie, we have a character whose name is Sepide, and the other male character and Ahmad.
ما توی فیلم احساس می‌کنیم که اینا در گذشته یه ارتباط عاطفی داشتن.
During the film, we feel that they had some kind of emotional relationship in the past.
خیلی تو فیلم راجعش حرف زده نمیشه.
This does not get discussed throughout the film. It's just the smell of fresh air.
و بعد توی تمرین ما رابطه اونا رو در گذشته که چه نوع رابطه عاطفی بوده تمرین کردیم. توی تمرین ها رابطه عاطفی اون رو شروع کردیم کار کردن، روش تمرین کردیم.
And during the rehearsals, we worked on this emotional relationship of the two characters.
مثلا من گفتم که سالها قبل تو از آلمان زنگ زدی به سپیده و راجع به مشکلات خانوادگی حرف زدی.
For example, once I said that
Ahmad.
I told Ahmad that you called Sepida a long time ago from Germany and talked to her.
در مورد مشکلات خانوادگی.
You talked to her about your family problems, family issues.
و بارها اینو تمرین کردیم.
And we rehearsed it several times.
در حالی که توی فیلم اصلا نبود.
This is why we never see this scene in the movie.
ولی وقتی که اومدن توی فیلم بدون که راجع به این موضوع حرف بزنن تماشاگر احساس کرد چنین چیزی وجود داره.
But when throughout the film, even without talking about this, the audience realized, well, there is a emotional aspect to it.
So we talked about your scripts, we talked how you work together with the actors, and maybe now we should open the discussion. I'm sure you have several questions, so please start.
Should I begin? Thank you very much for bringing us a very wonderful, that wonderful movies and wonderful stories, the plots, and also very famous, actors and actresses cast. So I would like to ask that, for example, if this story happens, that why you set the story context in the countries that speak Spanish. For example, they mentioned that Argentina and Spain. So, for example, if these same stories, would it be happen that in other English-speaking countries? Or, for example, that the vineyard in the movie is a very vital factor because Paco has to sell the vineyard to get the money. So, for example, if this vineyard is, the vital factors, would it be possible that for example, the story could be happening in other countries that has very famous vineyard, for example, French or Italy or some other, countries that has famous for their vineyard. So, yeah, thank you very much.
این داستان هر جایی میتونه رخ بده.
This story can happen everywhere.
ولی واکنش کاراکترها به این اتفاق شبیه هم نیست در کشور ما.
But the reactions by the characters of the film may not be the same if it's played in different countries.
مثلا فکر کنید که در یک کشوری که آدم‌ها خیلی صریح حرف میزنند این موضوع یه جور دیگه خواهد بود.
For example, in countries where people are very frank and they speak their minds, the reactions would be quite different.
در کشور من که یه رازآمیزی، یه میستری وجود داره، اگر این داستان رخ میداد یه شکل دیگه میشد.
In my country where people mince their words, they has a mystery to theirs. This would be a different story.
ولی کل قصه میتونه هر جایی رخ بده.
But the whole story may happen everywhere.
چیزی که در اسپانیا وجود داشت و برام جالب بود تاریخ اسپانیا بود.
The most important thing that I really liked about Spain was the history of Spain.
من یه داستان داشتم که هسته اصلیش قلب این داستان چالش بین یه آدم باورمند و یه آدمی که باور نداره شد.
I have my story. The main core and the main part of my story was a challenge between a man who was a believer and another who was not a believer.
به نظر من اسپانیا به دلیل تاریخش بهترین جا بود برای این چالش.
I believe the country of Spain was the best country for this challenge.
اونجا هر دو نگاه رو خیلی زیاد می‌بینید.
Because there in Spain you can see these two different ideas quite often and quite a lot.
Okay, thank you very much. Maybe next time you can consider that maybe a story that happened in Hong Kong for your next movie.
I hope so. Thank you.
So, hi, Mr. Fahardi.
This way.
Hello. So I watched the film and I see there are many secrets revealed from the characters and their histories, and I'm very interested in how will they return to their ordinary lives after their crisis with these secrets. Everybody knows their secrets. It's something like that. So, but I want to ask, why did you spare the part that they return to their lives after knowing about the secrets of themselves and each other's?
به نظرم توی این فیلم یه رازی آشکار شد ولی یه رازهای دیگه دوباره شکل گرفت.
I believe in this story, a mystery was revealed, yet at the same time, there were more mysteries came to the surface.
یک رازی آشکار شد ولی رازهای دیگه.
One mystery was revealed, and other mysteries came to the surface.
نه پنهان شد.
Other mysteries came to the surface.
آفرین. چیزی که وجود داره اینه که اون چیزی که ما رو خیلی اذیت میکنه حفظ این رازها در طول زندگیمونه.
What bothers us most is to keep these secrets secret, these mysteries secret.
گاهی ما به خاطر اینکه وضعیتمون بدتر نشه این رازها رو پنهان میکنیم.
Sometimes we continue to keep these mysteries secret in order not our situation to get worse.
من یه سوالی از شما میکنم، اونایی که جوابتون رو دستتون رو ببرید بالا.
I would like to pose a question to the audience and I would like to hear your answers. Please raise your hands.
فکر کنید که در این فیلم اون دختر اصلا شب عروسی دزدیده نمیشد و همه چی خیلی خوب میشد و این خانواده برمیگشتن آرژانتین.
Let's say that on that wedding night the girl was not abducted, the wedding finished and the family returned to Argentina.
و این راز برای همیشه پنهان میمونه.
And this mystery remained a mystery forever.
کیا موافق این بودن که این راز برای همیشه پنهان بمونه؟ دستشون رو ببرن.
Who wanted the mystery to continue to be secret? Please raise their hands.
کیا موافق بودن که این برملا بشه با همین مشکلاتش؟
And those in favor of revealing the mystery?
یه عده موافق نیستن که راز برملا بشه.
As you can see, some people don't like the idea of the mystery to be revealed.
اون وقتی که برملا میشه خیلی چیزا سخت‌تر میشه، رابطه ها عوض میشه.
Because when a mystery is revealed, some of the relations, some of the things become more difficult and stiff.
حقیقت چیزیه که راحت می‌دینه، هزینه خیلی داره.
Reality is not the truth, and reality is not something easy to come by. It has costs.
Hi, Mr. Fahardi, I am Iranian. As you said, there is a secret. The secret is these two men have the same footing in relation to this girl. One is a real father, and the other man brought up his children. But the reality of Iran is we are living in a very patriotic society. I have never seen in my whole life in Iran that men treat their women in such a very open and flexible manner. You know, we have never seen such an attitude from men. Because in the story, the man who married the real actress, his reaction when she revealed the story, he was very flexible and open-minded. But it is not the reality. Even in intellectual men, we never seen such a flexibility.
دو تا نکته میتونم بهتون بگم.
2 points here I would like to say.
من هیچ موقع راجع به کل یک کشور یه جمله خیلی قطعی نمیگم، میگم مردهای ایرانی اینجوری، زنهای ایرانی اینجوری. خیلی آدم متنوعی در هر جا زندگی میکنن.
I can't give a specific and definite definition of a society. For example, I cannot say the women in one country are like this and the men are like that. I never do that.
آدمای متفاوتی تو هر جامعه زندگی.
There are different people living in a society.
ولی درسته در این داستان در کشور من اگر رخ میداد این شکلی نبود.
Yes, but I also agree. If this story happened in Iran, it would not be like this.
So there is no commonality. Why this? There is no commonality, and there is no tinge of Iranian culture in this story.
Let's finish my word. به همین دلیل من فیلم در اسپانیا ساختم.
That's the main reason why I made this film in Spain.
و لینکش به در واقع جامعه ایران همین مقایسه‌ای که شما الان انجام دادید.
And the relationship of this movie to Iran is the comparison you just made.
That's okay.
We will change to this side again.
Hi, Mr. Fahardi. First of all, I wanted to congratulate you for this movie. I'm from Spain. I'm from the south of Spain.
Which city in Spain?
I'm from Cádiz.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm very familiar with all the thing of breaking. I mean, getting the crop and all that stuff because I grew on that. And I wanted to congratulate you because I'm very, very impressed by how you built the whole story and the characters. Because I was really feeling like I was seeing people that I actually know, and to me, it's something that respectfully I would never have thought it would be possible from an outsider. I mean, an outsider in the best sense, a foreign person, somebody that is not Spanish. Because the degree of understanding that you show in your movie about our culture goes beyond where I've seen many Spanish movies. And apart from that, I wanted to ask you a little bit more technical question. I've seen that you work on the movie with José Luis Alcaine for the direction of photography. The way that you show the film is really authentic. All those colors, all those textures. It's not easy to show a movie like this and being so loyal to what you actually see when you're there. So I would like to know how was the technical process of all the camera work.
Muchas gracias. خیلی خوشحالم که به عنوان یه اسپانیایی فکر می‌کنی که فیلم کاملا اسپانیایی.
I'm very pleased to hear from a Spanish person to feel that it's really a Spanish movie.
فیلم ساختن توی کشور و یه فرهنگ دیگه بسیار کار سختی.
Making a film in another country, in another culture, is such a hard task.
و برام مهم بود که هیچ اسپانیایی فکر نکنه یه غریبی ساخت.
And it was very important for me to see that the Spanish people would not think this movie was made by a non-Spanish.
راجع به فیلم برداری فیلم نکته که میخوام بگم خوشبختانه فیلم بردار من با نقاشی آشنا بود.
The good thing about the cameraman is that
DP, not camera. DP.
Thank you. Director of photography. Yeah, my director of photography was quite familiar with the paintings.
به خاطر اینکه توی فیلم موضوع مذهب و کاتولیک بودن یکی از شخصیت‌ها خیلی مهمه.
Because in the film, the subject of the person, one of the characters, religion and being a Catholic was very important. It was of paramount importance.
اون توی نورپردازیش به نقاشی‌ها رجوع کرد و نقاشی‌هایی که توشون بود مذهبی و اون نورپردازی مذهبی وجود داشت و این توی فیلم بود. Lighting.
In the lighting, he focused on the arts that had the religious theme, and he showed it quite well.
اینو از نقاشی گرفت.
He got it, and it was a reflection from the painting.
مثلا اون صحنه آخری که پاکو روی تخت خوابیده و خوشحاله با نوری که روش هست یه تطهیری توش هست.
For example, the last scene of the movie where Paco is on the bed and the light is on him, sort of a purification, as you can see.
اینو از نقاشی گرفته.
Which has come from the painting.
خیلی تجربه خوبی بود کار کردن با José Luis.
That was a very, very good experience having worked with José Luis.
Sure. Thank you.
another question from that side.
Hi, thank you for coming. I think it's very fitting that you're here because The Salesman was actually the first film I ever saw at a film festival. And if I hadn't seen that film, I might not have been here today. So, thank you. My question would be, what challenges did you face when filming in a language that is not your native language?
چالنج‌های خیلی زیادی هست.
There are many challenges.
کوچکترینش زبانه.
The smallest one is the language.
همه فکر کنن که زبان خیلی چیز عجیبیه. اتفاقا اون خیلی سریع میشه راه حلش پیدا کرد.
Everybody thinks language is a huge hurdle, but generally that can be solved very easily.
وقتی شما میرید در یک به نظر من وقتی میرید در یک فرهنگ دیگه راجع به مشترکات اون فرهنگ با فرهنگ خودتون میتونید کار کنید.
In my opinion, when you try to film or make a film in another culture, you try to work on the cultural commonalities between that specific culture and that of yours.
من نمیتونم برام در اسپانیا راجع به یه موضوعی کار کنم که هیچ ربطی به فرهنگ من نداشته باشه.
I cannot work on a subject in Spain, for example, which has no relationship with my own culture.
آدم‌ها در همه جای دنیا به نظر من بیشتر شبیه هم تا متفاوت باشن.
In my idea, in my opinion, people throughout the world are more similar, are alike, similar to each other than different from each other.
ما اگر روی اون شباهت‌ها کار کنیم به نظر من چالش بزرگی نیست.
It's not a big challenge if we work on the similarities rather than the differences.
ولی الان تو دنیای جور به نظر میاد که آدم‌ها از فرهنگ‌های مختلف خیلی از هم دورن و متفاوتن.
But what we see in the world today is that people coming from different cultures are very much apart and far away from each other, which is not a real thing.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, there's just time left for one last question from that side.
Salam, Asghar Fahardi. Happy New Year. Eid Shama Mubarak. When you won your second Oscar, you, because of the Trump's ban, you said it's very important. You know, one of the most important things of cinema is the ability to humanize people, to make people empathize with people. But now you're making films in France, in Spain. Do you still feel that responsibility? And are you going to also continue to make films in Iran as well? Because we need all the humanizing we can get at the moment.
Thank you.
من بیشترین فیلم‌ها در ایران خواهم ساخت. اگر مشکل نداشته باشم اونجا ترجیح میدم بیشترین فیلم‌ها اونجا بسازم.
I will make most of my movies. I prefer to make them in Iran, if there are no problems, of course.
و بعضی موقع برای ترجمه می‌رم در کشورهای دیگه.
And sometimes I like to experience making films in other countries.
ولی وقتی که میرم در یک کشور دیگه فیلم میسازم چیزی که ممکنه برای تماشاگر ایرانی جالب باشه اینه که چقدر ما هم شبیه اوناییم اونا هم شبیه ما هم.
But when I go and make a film in other countries, something that the Iranian would attract and Iranian audience would find interesting would be how similar we are, how similar we Iranians are with the people in which the movie is made.
چون توی کشور من یه بخشی از در حاکمیتم هست که خیلی دوست داره که غربی دنیای دیگه است، شرقی دنیای دیگه است، اونا خیلی عجیب غریبن. وقتی میریم و یه فیلمی مردم میبینن که اونجا هم رفتارشون مثل ماست، این دیوار یه جوری فرو میریزه.
Some part of the system in my country would like to antagonize the West, trying to portray the West as quite different from Iran, but by seeing this movie and these sorts of film, people will come to this realization that they are also very similar and very much alike.
چیزی که در واقع توی اون نوشته هم که برای اسکار خوندن گفتم تقریبا همین بود که آدم‌ها میتونن برای مرزها با هم همدردی کنن.
That's sort of what I in my speech to the Oscar presentation ceremony was almost around this subject, that beyond the boundaries, beyond the differences, people can feel empathy toward each other. Thank you so much.